Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Troy Dante Presswood, President of the Ward 8 Democrats, and I'm officially calling our April 2025 meeting to order. I want to thank all of our Ward 8 family and friends, as always, and our community members for joining us here for this meeting. Before we dive in, I want to wish a happy Resurrection Weekend to those like me who celebrate and commemorate this Christian Holy Week. And just want to say thank you for hopping on. I know that it's in between a holiday period, so thank you for being here. Today's agenda includes some timely updates and reflections on the work that we've been doing together here in Ward 8. We'll touch on the fiscal year 26 budget and the mayor's recently announced budget freeze. What does that mean for us here in DC, us here in Ward 8? It is such a mess, and it was, caused by really what's happening up on the Congress or in the Congress. We'll also talk about the July 15th special election to fill the Ward 8 council seat. And we'll look back at some of our recent community events and preview what's ahead. So, you've made it. You're here. Now let's spread the word. Invite your neighbors and invite your friends to join us live here on Zoom, or they can visit our YouTube page. They can also visit our uh, Facebook pages as well. I will say that everything has changed from Meta in terms of how we share our videos. So we're going to be exclusively using YouTube from now on. We will share the YouTube link on our Meta pages, but which is both Facebook and Instagram. But they've changed how they will save our videos going forward, everyone's videos going forward. So just keep in mind that we want you to really subscribe to our YouTube page where you can not just see this meeting live, but all of our previous meetings, all of our previous videos, they're all there live for you on YouTube. We're going to also be transitioning some of our old videos that were just exclusively on Facebook. We're going to put those on YouTube as well so that we don't lose this important history that we've been creating together here in Ward 8. You can follow us there, like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also engage with us on Facebook and X and Instagram. We're at Ward 8 Dems across all those platforms. Use the hashtag Ward 8 Dems and Ward 8 Votes so others can join in on the conversation. All right, before we get started, we lost some people since the last time we met, and I want us to take a moment right now to remember and to honor them. And so first, I want to extend our deepest condolences to the family of our sister in service, Commissioner Kay Armstead, Carleen K. Armstead. She was our co-chair of our Issues and Legislative Affairs Committee and a longtime advisory neighborhood commissioner representing the great ANC 8E in Washington Highlands. Kay was a fierce, vocal, and compassionate advocate whose leadership left an indelible mark here on our ward. Now, although she was a native of Charlottesville, Virginia, Kay's commitment to DC and to Ward 8 was undeniable, and it was rooted in love. Whether she was attending to neighborhood concerns, standing up to the voiceless around policy conversations, she worked tirelessly to uplift the lives of her neighbors, especially the children and families of Foxhall Place in Southeast. To serve along Kay was to witness courage in action. She did not just do the work boldly and unapologetically, but she also worked very strongly to ensure that every voice in our community was heard. Her efforts to ensure Ward 8 was represented with excellence still remain a guiding light for us to follow in her footsteps. And so we offer our thoughts and prayers to her family, her daughter in particular, whom we got to meet with and offer our condolences in person with at Kay's memorial service. And then I have to say that earlier this week, the DC Council announced that John Ray, who once served as our at-large council member for 18 years, passed away. He was someone who was often described as a reserved and often soft-spoken guy, but he could be pretty tenacious when it came to advocating for certain causes. Ray chaired the council's Consumer and Regulatory Affairs Committee. He wrote legislation mandating health insurance coverage for substance abuse and mental illness here in the city, and he spearheaded a 1983 law banning the DC government from investing in businesses and banks that did business with South Africa's government during the time of apartheid. His ascension to office came in 1979 when Marion Barry became mayor. Barry backed him, and he won. In 1990, he ran unsuccessfully for mayor. But he was considered the front runner up until election day when he lost to then Mayor Sharon Pratt Kelly. He would later retire from electoral politics, but stay pretty active in city affairs. I actually worked with him back in, I want to say it was 2019, when we were working on the Reunion Square project here in Ward 8. Um, we were working with the council member Trayon White and with the council as well around the TIF around that. And it was John who came through and was there. And I don't know if people in the room, the other people who were in the room, really knew that that was John Ray sitting across from us at the table. And so I, of course, gave him his flowers and I said, "It's such an honor to meet you, sir, and to be here with you to talk about this project." And so, again, he was very quiet, had a quiet, reserved power about him, but you knew if he was there, it was important. And that's I will always remember that about him going forward. So these are two remarkable people, two different roles, but the same fight. It was always for the people. So want to just thank him and as well as Kay for their service here to Ward 8. If you will join me now in a brief moment of silence for both of them. Thank you. And we will have an open forum a little bit later in our discussion here today. It's not going to be a long meeting. We don't think it's going to be a long meeting today. And so those of you who, and I hope you do, you stick around, you want to share some of your thoughts about Kay or about John, we would love to hear those a little bit later in our meeting today. All right, so we're going to get back to our slides. And I don't know why this is doing that, but anyway, this is our meeting with so last time we met, we held our meeting with Chairman Phil Mendelson, and it was also with Ankit Jain, our DC Shadow Senator. We also had Representative Oye Awolowo, our DC Shadow Representative. We talked about everything around what was happening on the Hill, the growing threats. I think I can play a little bit of that without the audio. Yep. The growing threats around our home rule. We also talked about the budget crisis and what that will mean for those of us here in Ward 8. We talked about the future of the Ward 8 Council seat as well. And so if you missed that meeting in March, we invite you to go to our YouTube page. Again, we're pointing people now to our YouTube page, which is at Ward 8 Democrats. You can go there. You can check out this this conversation that you see right now with Chairman Mendelson, as well as the other representatives that we mentioned earlier. Go there and check us out and see what we're talking about or what we talked about last month. We also held, or we took part in several rallies up on Capitol Hill, speaking about what's happening around DC's autonomy. So this is a photo of us. Listen, I just want to shout out Free DC. They've really been going hard on this. They've organized us. They've pulled us together all across all 8 wards. And so these are some of the folks there, but this is a small representative, small representation of the people who came out to be a part of the going around and meeting with members of Congress. And I want to also shout out Ward 8 School Board Rep, LaJoy Johnson Law. She was one of the persons who put together, one of the organizers who put together the recess on the Hill, by bringing out kids from Ward 8, but all across the city during those days when school was out, to show them, to show members of Congress what it will look, if you want to take away our autonomy, if you want to take away our home rule, well, then you have to step up and you have to understand that you got these kids we got to care for, that these kids need, services. They need funding. And we don't know if you really want to do that or if your constituents back home really want you doing that. So it was really a well-organized, well-oiled machine. And want to just thank her and thank everyone who you see here. We went on the Hill, and I just want to shout out Mike. That's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. I mean, Mike, we are still waiting for you to put our bill on the floor, because it's going to impact everything from our schools to public safety to this whole idea of keeping our city beautiful, which we know President Trump speaks about often. So Mike, if you really want to not impede any of these things, then we implore you to put the bill on the floor. We know it has the support of the president. We know it has the support of the chairman of the committee. It passed unanimously out of the Senate. Put the bill on the floor, Mike. Let's get this bill passed so that we don't have to suffer, from not even spend our own money. I mean, that's really the issue here is that we're unable to spend our own money, which we've raised, not even federal dollars. So come on, Mike. We're asking you. I went to his office. Me and all those people are there on the screen. We all went to his office a couple of weeks ago. Very nice people in the office, I must tell you. Everyone was very kind to us. Um, but that doesn't cut it. We need them to put the bill on the floor. So come on, Mike. Let's put this bill on the floor. The Cedar Hill Regional Medical Center, as you all know, is now open right there off of Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue in Congress Heights. Um, Beautiful location. The ribbon cutting was last week. Um, I can't tell you how incredible this is for our ward, really for east of the river, but for our city as well, because before this regional medical center opened, there was no place you can have a baby, no place a woman could have a baby or get obstetrics care in the District of Columbia east of North Capitol Street, which is quite a telling story. And so now we know these services will be provided in our community, right there on the campus of St. Elizabeth's East. If you don't mind, and I just want to also, right in the middle there is former council member Ward 7 Gray, Vincent Gray, former mayor as well. He was there. This was a brainchild of his, is to, get a medical center built on the east side, as he always calls it, of town. And so I'm glad that he was there to witness it. And then in the bottom uh, left, the bottom left corner there is me and Ms. Matthews. Ms. Matthews was one of my constituents here in ANC 8A. She and her daughter were my constituents, and it was so great running into her at the new hospital. She's going to be working there in food services. And, she doesn't mind me sharing this. She had some health issues. But she said, "Look at me now. I'm moving good now." And I was just so peacock proud of her. And so just wanted to just shout her out. We took a great photo there. And if you know her, if you see her at the hospital, tell her people love her and they're pulling for her as well. And then Councilwoman Brooke Pinto was here a couple of weeks ago to talk about the Peace DC Act. We invite you to check out that act. A lot of what's in it is provisions that we already know around public safety. It's pulling it all together in one big package so that it's understood as it's all about peace in DC. Um, But she was here in Ward 8 because she wanted to talk about the different pieces of it and to understand where what our thoughts were on it. And so this is some of the photos from that event. As you know, I've been pretty hard on our council members, all 12 that remain, because we don't have representation here in Ward 8. Every other ward has representation, but we do not have a direct representative for Ward 8. We do have 5 at-large council members, which includes those who have the at-large title, and then, of course, the council chairman. The chairman, as you saw, was here recently. But we've called on all of the 7 ward level chairs and then the council members and then of course, all of the at-large members to come to Ward 8, to come in and hear what we're talking about, to make sure our voices are in the conversations that you're having with your own constituents. You voted to oust our council member. Water under the bridge at this point. But at the same time, that means you have to step up. Your responsibility didn't end just because you voted out the council member. So we've been very we've been pretty consistent. I have been pretty consistent in calling on our council members, all of them, to step up. And so I want to just shout out one in particular who came from Ward 2 over to Ward 8. This was at the Arc. Again, I think they got some really good feedback. They continue to be open to feedback. So if you have more that you want to share about the PCDC, I can go on her website, go on the council's website. You can check out what the legislation looks like and offer comments and feedback. I mean, that's why she was here. And then I think we mentioned this before, but as always, worth mentioning again that the new DNC chair, Ken Martin, was here, and we all had a chance to meet with him and talk with him a month ago. And I, of course, expressed what we do over in Ward 8 and why we need, really strong Democratic leadership. We need the Democratic Party, both our DC party, but also our national party, to really step up for working class people, for people who are on the margins. Their voices are important. And so I got a chance to tell him that in person. And I'm glad that he listened. Hopefully he listened. All right, I'll stop there and we'll get to our treasurer's report. Let me just make sure he is, he meaning Daryl, is here with us. He may not be. Oh, he is. Okay. So I am going to bring him on live. And as Daryl connects to our to the call here, I want to just acknowledge that Wanda Lockridge, our Ward 8 committee woman, she mentioned that the first baby was born on Wednesday over at Cedar Hill. So let's congratulate that family. Hopefully we know. See, well, okay, I'm not going to get indignant here. Uh, Hopefully we can find out who that family is so that we can congratulate them for being the first family born here in Ward 8 in over at least in over 7 years. So or 6 years. So we would like to know who that family is so we can congratulate them and others can congratulate them as well. Hopefully the mayor's congratulating that family. That's so exciting. All right. Hey, Daryl, welcome.
Hello. Good morning
Good morning.
or good afternoon.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Here's our treasurer's report. Daryl, you have at it.
All right. This is the Treasurer's Report for Ward 8 Democrats for the month ending March 31st, 2025. We opened the month with a balance of $18,490.41. For the month, we have revenue of $65. We had expenses of $2.58. So the excess of the revenue over the expenses for the month was $62.42. We ended the month of March with a balance of $18,552.83. At this time, if anyone has any questions regarding the treasurer's report for the month, you can use the chat feature, raise your hand, or the Q&A feature, whichever Troy activates.
Yeah, we have the Q&A feature activated. All right, questions for Daryl about our treasurer's report. Give people a few more minutes. Excuse me. Um, okay. Mr. Treasurer, will you move it?
Okay, I move that we accept the treasurer's report for March 31st, 2025 for the Ward 8 Democrats, subject to audit.
It's been moved. Is there?
I second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, identify yourself.
Sheila Bunn.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Bunn. Has been seconded. Further discussion? Further discussion? Further discussion. All those in favor vote aye. You can also use the Q&A as well.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed or extensions, abstentions? Abstentions. You can put it in the chat.
You got that right, President.
I'm trying to wake up here.
We're gonna send you some Red Bull or something. Give you some wings.
Yeah, I'm drinking Rise coffee, the mushroom coffee, and I tell you, it's such an acquired taste, but hey. Okay. All right. It's the opinion of the chair that the motion passes. So thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
You're welcome.
And of course, I think I moved a little too fast there. I know Daryl would not be happy with me if I didn't do this part. So, of course, we want to offer you an opportunity to partner with the Ward 8 Democrats. This was supposed to be an off year for us. Did you know that? This was supposed to be a year where we were going to talk about issues and, bring different speakers through, and, sort of talk about the things that Democrats in our ward are talking about, the issues, basically. But we have another election, that we have to prepare for and get our voters prepared for this special election that's coming up soon. Why do you mention that, Troy? Well, we can't do it without funds. So we want to just make sure that there's several on-ramps for you here at the Ward 8 Democrats for you to become a partner. You can scan that QR code, takes you straight to our Act Blue page. If you've ever donated to progressive or democratic causes in the past, that means that your information is already there. You can put in the amount of your donation and it goes through pretty quickly. If you're new to Act Blue, it just takes you a couple of minutes and then you're all set up. But the point here is that we want to raise a few funds so that we can put those funds back into our community, especially when we are now no longer in off year for an election. We are on again. So we invite you again to partner with us. If you cannot scan that screen, shot it as well and take a look at it later. But we also would invite you to go to our website at ward8dems.com. And there's a donate button at the very top of the screen and top of the page there. You can click on that button. It takes you right to the Act Blue page as well. But again, this is just a way where you can donate. And let me just tell you, no donation is too big or too small. $5, $10, maybe it's $8 because we're here in Ward 8. You can set that up. You can become a one-time donor or you can become a reoccurring donor. And we want to just give a special shout out to our reoccurring donors out there, our sustaining donors for whom we have a few. And we just want to just thank them all so much for sowing a seed into what we do here at Ward 8 Democrats. We see you, we thank you, and we offer others an opportunity to do the same thing. So again, scan the QR code and you can donate $5, $50, you can donate $8, like I say, you can donate $50, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever fits your budget. And we will certainly use those funds in a way that will be in service to our ward. All right. Well, let's talk about the July 15th special election, which I just mentioned. Let's see here. So, as you know, back on Thursday of this week was the deadline to submit all of your petitions to make it at least through what I call the preliminary stages, right? That's where we're at right now. And so there were 10 individuals that turned in petitions. Um, and 8 of those individuals are Democrats. And so we want to at least acknowledge who they are. So on your screen here, in no particular order, just the order that we pull the information, is Mike Austin, Sheila Bunn, Chanel Shanae, Khadijah Clark, Eric Cleckley, Mary Roach, Trayon White, Salim Adolfo. And so these are the individuals who turned in petitions to the DC Board of Elections this past Thursday at 5 o'clock. That was the deadline. And the next stage on this is that starting tomorrow on Easter, they will open up the petitions for the so-called challenge period. And that's going to run from tomorrow through Tuesday, April 29th at 5 p.m. So it's 10 days straight. Not overnight though. Kind of, oh, is it overnight? I don't think it's overnight. I think they close at a certain time. But this is the challenge period. And I suspect that, people will go and take a look to make sure the petitions are solid, for all of them, for every person who turned in petitions. You need 500 good signatures in order to make it to the ballot. And so everyone, I know people turned in more. Some people maybe a little bit closer to 500 than others. And so this is the period where that happens. So you, as a elector in Ward 8, I think even in the District of Columbia, you're able to go and inspect those petitions and just make sure that they're good. And you do that down at the Board of Elections office down in Navy Yard. So if you're interested in that, go to their website and you'll learn more about how you can take a look at the petitions. And if there is, signatures, or if there are, I guess, signers on the petitions that are suspicious, or because I remember one year you had Mickey Mouse and you had Donald Duck, and, you know, as crazy as that sounds, if you don't actually look at that and challenge it, it'll go through. So the period is, again, starts tomorrow on Easter and goes through the 29th. Then the next important phase, I think, for us to know is this. On Monday, June 13th, tentatively, the DC Board of Elections will mail out ballots to Ward 8 registered voters. That's every registered voter in Ward 8. So we're talking about no matter what your party is, or if you are non-party affiliated, they're going to mail out ballots on the 13th. And then on Friday, July 11th through Monday, July 14th, vote centers will open in Ward 8. Again, this is just a Ward 8 election, so it's not going to be all over the city. It's going to be right here in Ward 8. There will be, I have not got clarity on this yet. If someone who's on my team knows, certainly speak up. But I do not believe there will be drop boxes. I think it's only going to be vote centers open in the ward. So in the past, we've had drop boxes where you can go and drop off your ballot. I think now you're only going to be able to use the mail. And again, you can take your completed ballot to any of the early vote centers or the same day vote centers. And I'm going to give you a list of those in a second. But I don't believe there will be vote centers. Am I correct on that? Anyone has any other information?
Troy, this is Sheila. That is what we are hearing, is that no drop boxes, just the vote centers.
Okay, got it. So that's going to be a little bit different from what we've done over the past, at least a few election cycles. So just know that the U.S. mail is your option, or you can just hold on to it. You can always take it to the DC Board of Elections as well, down at their office, again, down in Navy Yard, or you can take it to the one of these early vote centers or the same day vote center centers that'll be open for election. Let's go ahead and give you those locations here. And so these are all the locations that will be open on election day. Every location you see on this screen will be open on election day. But I want you to pay attention to the top four because those will be open earlier. They'll be open from Friday, July 11th through Monday, July 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. So that includes Anacostia Public Library, I should say, Farabee Hope Rec Center, Van Ness Elementary, and Patterson Elementary. And then on election day, in addition to those four, Allen Chapel will be open. Anacostia High School will be open. Simon Elementary School, Turner Elementary School, Covenant Baptist, Henley Elementary School, the Ark, and Union Temple. These are likely locations that you are familiar with. These are kind of the go-to locations that we've had in a few election cycles, with the exception of maybe one or two on here. But these are the locations that will be open. Either all of them that you see on the screen will be open on election day, but if you want to just get it out of the way early, the first four at the top will be open. Go ahead and screenshot this now so that you have this so you can make a plan to vote. You know, special elections are notoriously known to be low voter turnout, and we just, you know, when we ask people why, it's different reasons. Well, one of the reasons we want to take off the table is that you don't know where to vote. And so these are the vote center locations that are open in the ward, either for early or same day. Screenshot them, make a plan now, begin to plan out, you know, how you will vote. Will you complete your ballot and mail it back? Will you hold on to it and maybe take it to an early vote center just in case you may have some questions to make sure you're filling it out correctly? That's how you make a plan. That's how you make a plan for success. But we want to make sure your vote counts. So screenshot these, keep it close, share it with others who are in the ward, and let's make sure we all get a chance to vote. And just one last thing here. The special election date is Tuesday, July 15th from 7 to 8 o'clock. Again, at all those locations in an early voting period, which I just explained to you. Friday, July 11th through Monday, July 14th. I'm going to stop there in case we have any questions. I saw there's some stuff coming up in the chat. Okay, yeah, I can't see the chat when I'm presenting live, so I appreciate you all being active there. There is a question that asked about a candidate debate forum. So if you know Ward 8 Democrats, you know we love our candidate debates. And so, yes, we certainly are planning to do one of those. We are looking at June. So stay close. We know that July is the holiday period there. We also know Beyonce is going to be in town. And so we can't do anything around Beyonce. But, you know, after that, well, before that, we want to have our forum. So we are still nailing down that location and date. We will announce it widely to everyone as soon as we get that date down. But we have a couple of months. So stay with us, stay tuned. We will have that information for everyone shortly. Okay. One more quick thing, and then I want to pause to talk to a few folks. All right, here we go. All right, so I want to just very quickly update you where we are on the budget. So, you know, we've been sharing this slide for the past couple of months now because we thought everything was going to be on track the way it's been in the past. Well, enter Mike, you know, Speaker Mike Johnson from the House, who threw a monkey wrench into our whole entire budget process. And so these dates are no longer applicable to the budget hearings that the council is going to hold, the transmittal of the fiscal year 26 budget to the council, the mock-up, all of that. All of this is being rejiggered because it's just it's incorrect at this point. So just keep in mind that if you were planning to do any of these hearings, we need you to stay very close to what the council is doing, and then we'll make sure that we follow up with information via our email and socials about when the new hearing dates and everything will be released. So just stay tuned on that. In terms of the other big news, though, which is what's happening in this fiscal year, which, as you know, we're in fiscal year 25 already. And because of what's happening again in the Congress with the CR and how the district's budget was in there and basically froze us to 2025 levels, really prior 2025 levels, we are in a bit of a pickle here. So uh, the mayor announced just a few days ago that there's a hiring freeze of all new employees, including contract staff. There's going to be no overtime. I think they will offer exceptions for public safety, obviously, but for everyone else, there'll be no overtime. There'll be a freeze on bonuses, promotions, reimbursements, and other payments, which, by the way, it affects people like me who have contracts with the DC government and maybe others who do as well. There's also a freeze on purchasing of supplies, and like we said here, there's also a freeze on purchase card purchases, and there may even be furloughs. And I think that's kind of the really big takeaway here, is that there may be furloughs of government workers. I do think that they are going to exclude public schools and shelters and healthcare facilities, but all the rest of the government that's under the executive control of the mayor may be on the table. So there may be one day off. It could, it's going to get really, really ugly if Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson, if he doesn't pass the budget fix that the Senate already passed, that the president supports. And so the mayor has already begun to ask all of the agencies to look very closely at what cuts they can make. And so this is where we're at right now. It's not pretty, but we want to make sure you are aware of it, just in case you were unaware before she announced it just a few days ago. So we're going to keep you posted, but it looks like for now, shelters and public schools and healthcare facilities will be exempt from any types of furloughs and closures, but it will impact everybody else. And so the hope here is that they can, when the House returns this week, that they will pass this short-term budget, not even short-term, the budget fix. It should have even been broken in the first place. So they can pass this, and then we can get through this, and this can go off the table. And then we can get back to what we've been talking about, which is fiscal year 26 budget, and getting us back on track for that. So just stay tuned to that. It's a lot going on. It's coming at us like a fire hose these days, but just know that the Ward 8 Democrats, at least, we are on it. We're looking very closely at where we are legislatively. We've been on the Hill. We've been, fighting there as well. So watch this space. Stay tuned with us, and get engaged as well. Get engaged. If we need to go up on the Hill, we put that call out. Come with us onto the Hill. Because we all of our faces, even our children, it makes a difference. But I did want to add that we offered the council as well as the mayor our budget priorities. So if you recall, we had everyone take a budget survey here in Ward 8. We asked you really a simple question. What was the most important issue facing you here, or that you felt was the most important issue facing us here in Ward 8? And this is the breakdown of that. I want to pull up the letter so I can just pull any highlights from that. But the point here is that you see every year when we ask this question, it's usually public safety reigns supreme. And that was no different this go around. It remains a top concern, with the highest percentage of respondents identifying this as their first and foremost priority. This includes, and when we asked you open-ended questions like, what types of things you want to see. And so this includes urgent calls to invest in a new 7th District Police Station, because they say that it will help obviously serve, I think, the operational needs there, but also includes community accessible spaces as well. And so that was something that we asked you for, and you said, hey, this is a concern of ours. Uh, the other top concern was around access to quality health care. Primarily mental and behavioral health were identified as the second most pressing concerns in our ward. And so we know that the new hospital is online now, which we're very happy about, but this was before the hospital was online. And these were the things that the concerns that residents raised. And then affordable housing continues to be a focus as well, where we have people who said that there is a need for safe, dignified living spaces for people at all income levels in our city, but specifically here in Ward 8, especially when we're talking about repairs and maintenance of existing housing stock. I just saw the other day that the Attorney General for DC, Brian Schwab, he sued a landlord over in Deanwood, over in Ward 7, for deplorable conditions that residents were living in. And we've seen that even play out here in Ward 8 as well. So I think, it can be the carrot and the stick approach to this housing crisis. Is one, we need to build more and make sure we're protecting it, but then going after slumlords, and we have them here, we have them in other places, who are allowing these properties to fall in, disrepair. Food access and economic justice came through strongly with repeated mentions of the need for grocery stores in our neighborhoods, like in Bellevue and Congress Heights. There's also talk about expanding training and opportunities around hospitality and technology and cybersecurity. So those are potential job areas there. And then, interestingly, we had, and again, the open-ended part, and I'm sorry I don't have that up on the slide. We will post a letter on our website. You can take a look at the whole thing that we sent to every council member and the mayor. But another interesting thing that came out of the survey was that Ward 8 residents were speaking about parenting classes, and saying that, we need to uplift and support programs like that to help parents, I guess, navigate the new frontier where we are with our young people today, with their young people today. Expand UDC workforce development programs, youth civics education. So in our schools about, what is DC statehood? Why are we fighting for such a thing? Why does it matter? But other areas around civics as well. And then something around flood smart homes investment, which is something that was never on our radar. And so we thank those of you who completed the survey and gave it to us, and we were able to uplift this and send this to the mayor and to all the members of the council. And so, again, the key takeaway from this budget, from the survey, was that public safety remains our most pressing issue. The second most important issues really are around education and workforce development. And then thirdly, housing and public safety. Again, so public safety came back around again because we asked people what was their first, second, and third, and even people who selected it as their third, a number of people chose public safety around that as well. So we will share the letter on our website if you give me till the end of the day, or really another hour after we end our call. We'll add it up there so you can take a look at the whole letter. Okay, I want to stop there and welcome someone back to the Ward 8 Democrats who is no stranger to the Ward 8 Democrats. It is Monique Diop. Monique was the Ward 8 Constituent Services Director for under Ward 8 Councilmember Trayon White. When he was expelled, they then sort of held on to a number of the members in the office and moved them around, and then some people were let go recently. So there's been a lot of, I guess, chatter about that, and I wanted to just go straight to the source, someone who I know and respect mightily here in Ward 8, And so, Monique Diop, thank you. Welcome back to the Ward 8 Democrats. Can you give us an update on what's happening at the council and what your role is currently?
Well, thank you and good morning, everybody. And also, too, I want to give a shout out to V8. If you want that extra energy, drink a V8.
You mean vegetable juice?
Yes,
Ugh,
I drink both of them, the vegetable one and also
ah.
the energy one. They're good. Anyway,
I'll,
so
I'll
good
take it under
morning,
consideration.
everybody. And as you know, the Ward 8 Council office was officially closed on April 4th. But I want you all to know that I am still actively engaged and committed to serving Ward 8. My title is still Director of Constituent Services for the Ward 8 DC Council office. And even how you contacted me has not changed. My email remains the same, mdiop@dccouncil.gov, and my phone number stays the same too, at 771-217-7184. But also too, over the past few weeks, my staff and I have met with several key council members, including Robert White, McDuffie, Christina Henderson, to discuss budgetary needs and other problems of concerns in the ward. And I've also connected with Councilmember Allen on streetscapes and developments in transportation in Ward 8. And as you all know, that I'm now in the chairman's office, and even working with the chairman and his staff, we're all working together to help relieve some of the constituent service calls that are coming in. Also, too, people are able to come in to see me as well. I'm at the Wilson Building and people have come already, and our suite number is 504. But we've hosted several open town halls in Ward 8 where residents were able to ask the chairman direct questions so they could be heard and issues worked on. And on 3 occasions, he's shown up. We had a town hall living word. We had the tax town hall, which was a collaborative effect with ANC 8F. And also, too, we were at Dreaming Out Loud, where neighbors talked to us. And he was also here celebrating the grand opening of Cedar Hill. So Chairman Mendelson has been very present and supportive and really has been engaged in our community. I'm surrounded by staff who work with legislation and committee, and I'm always talking to them about the problems that we're having in Ward 8. But as for me, I will continue to work with Ward 8 constituents daily. I'm resolving issues, and our phone line has not stays the same, and that's the old one, which is still the same of 202 724-8045. And we do have a Ward 8 email address, which is ward8@dccouncil.gov. So we're still here. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful for all the residents in Ward 8, the leaders, the CBOs, the ANCs, because they've all come together to support me and to support the Ward 8 office. And we're still here. So I just want you all to continue to know that we are here ready to support the community. I'm out in the community. I still continue to go to meetings and speak up for our constituents in Ward 8. I'm a Ward 8 resident. So we're here. And if you need to reach out, feel free to reach out to our office because we're here to serve.
Thank you so much for that. I thought it was so important to have you come and speak directly to Ward 8 residents because there's been, I won't say misinformation, but just I think there was a need for clarity around the continuing efforts to have some representation for constituent services at the council, despite the fact that they officially closed down the Ward 8 office. Um, it may be a loaded question, but do you feel like you have all of the support that you need from our council members, including the chairman, to do your job effectively? And if not, what can we do to help you get it?
One thing about working for constituent services within Ward 8, it's not an easy job. It's a job that never ends. So even with an entire full staff, you're always gonna, I wouldn't say that you're falling short, but we have to pace ourselves when it comes to working out the issues. But I'm surrounded with people that have a wealth of information. He has a full staff there. So if I get stuck on anything, I have people that I can rely on to help me with certain issues. And his staff is really great, especially when it comes to legislative issues and other committees. So I feel that I feel kind of secure. It gets a little busy, but it's nothing that's kind of unusual with just having this position in a whole anyway. But I feel that I am supported in this role, and the staff does help me out a lot. And I also reach out to at-large members as well. They can step up too, and I have. So right now, I really do believe that we are getting the support that we have right now until we fill this seat. But I am definitely working to make sure that we do speak to constituencies. They have our information. I get back to people, and it's something that we're working through on a daily, but it's also too working.
Could you, there is a request that if you're able to, or someone from the council member's office is able to give us monthly updates from the council, even if you're unable or they're unable to attend in person, even if it's just like, here's our document so that, we can explain to Ward 8 residents what the latest is. And I think, the need for that is likely around just not having full voting, oh, not full voting, that's a different different conversation. Not having a representative in the Ward 8 council seat. And so, usually, as you know, and you guys were very active in at least keeping the community, updated with the e-blast, but I don't know if that goes away because of the transition of the closure of the office. And so I think there's a tremendous vacuum that I feel, you're quite capable of filling, but not by yourself without the
Right.
support of the council. So if there's a way that you can convey to your colleagues there and to the council members that, we need to continue to see them in our ward because people want to. And by the way, like I said, Brooke Pinto came through. She's from Ward 2. I cornered Nadell at the opening of Cedar Hill. And I just said, hey, you are over Public Works, I think. And I was like, you should really hold a town hall here in Ward 8.
Absolutely.
Don't just come for the photo op, but come to really engage with voters here in Ward 8 to hear from us. Like bring it here to Ward 8. So I thought I thought that was great. Anything else you want to just leave as an impression with Ward 8 voters, or Ward 8 residents, rather?
And I hear your request for the last one, especially when it comes to communication within the ward. Before we had the amazing Jules. She was
Yeah.
our communications director, and she has moved on to another agency. But it's not like we cannot do it, but we just have to find the staffing to do that. And I am working on it. So there's information I'm collecting, but currently I've never held that position as the communications director. And they have someone that does it for their office, but it's not like it cannot be done. Before we did it once a week. I don't know about once a week, but I can definitely see if we can talk to the staff to at least have something generated once a month.
Okay. And if you have information that you want to get out and you think, I mean, I know that part of your job is not political, but we're happy at the Ward 8 Democrats to promote and push that information out as well. We have a pretty robust email list and social following. So we just want to make sure that information is reaching those who were used to getting it, and it should continue, as much as possible, especially as we gear up for budget season. Um, and do you have any information on at least, and if you certainly if you don't, you don't, but do you have any information on where we are? Like the dates, are they TBD? Like where are we at least on the hearings and any of that?
Well, for the hearings, I really can't speak much on that. That's really not my area of expertise, but we do have, like I said, we have a committee and uh, legislative directors. We have a deputy community director. We also have legislation policy advisors. I can send you those lists so that you can have someone that you can contact for these type of questions. And I'm telling you, they're very active. They get back to people. I know that we're having, I don't really I don't know if I have his schedule or not, but I know that we are having a hearing coming up on Tuesday when it comes to education. A few Ward 8 residents came into the office and actually told me about that. So I know that that's coming up. So they're revving up for that. But they're definitely open to hear anything that comes from Ward 8. And it's actually a priority because I'm in the office. If I ask them about anything, they're on it. So I don't want anyone to feel that we don't have any representation, because we do. We would have so much more if we did have a full staff in Ward 8 with an active council member, and that's coming soon. But for right now, we're handling as much of the information as we can. And I appreciate the collaborative effort that you have as well with the Dems. And if I have anything that's coming up that we need to know, I'll definitely shoot you out that information so that you can help us blast that out.
We so appreciate that, and we are just happy that you're still there. As
Thank
someone who
you.
really understands our ward and has served our ward in so many capacities, we know that you can help set them straight when they go astray. So be willing to speak up and say, I have the backing of 85, 90,000 people over
Sure,
in.
absolutely. You know how I do. You know what I'm saying? I come into
Yeah.
spaces and our voice is definitely heard. Even just in meetings, I still am actively going to meetings. And at times, even before this all happened, I was the one Ward 8 voice. So I make sure that, we're represented in the rooms that I go into, and I'm still in a few. So we are still being heard. Our issues are still being talked about. And but also too, it takes all of us, all of our efforts. Residents as well. You can pick up that phone and call any of these council members because they all work for DC. We're DC residents. And please tell them some of the issues that concern you and invite them to come to our office as well. I've reached out to all the at-large. I haven't really reached out to the regular council members, but all the at-large. And, even McDuffie, he's coming on Tuesday at the Temple of Praise. So they are coming out to speak to Ward 8 residents, but we can all put a little bit more pressure on them by just picking up that phone and calling. You can go to dccouncil.gov to get the information for all the council members and call them, send them an email, write them, and invite them out to come speak to the residents here in Ward 8.
Great point. Sheila Bond had a question.
Sure. Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning. I'm trying to find my camera. I'm sorry. Good morning. Good morning. First, Monique, thank you for all of your hard work and your continued dedicated service to Ward 8. We appreciate you for being our voice. But wanted to piggyback on what you said about at-large council members. I just was going, you said it, but wanted to elevate that Councilmember McDuffie will be in Ward 8. He's having a town hall this coming Tuesday at Temple of Praise, and I believe that begins at 6 p.m. So just wanted to share that with community so that they were aware that we need to be there to let Councilmember McDuffie know about our issues and concerns. But that's this Tuesday, the 22nd, at Temple of Praise Church, 6 p.m. And that's being co-sponsored by Councilmember McDuffie and Anacostia Coordinating Council. That was it, Mr. Chair.
All right,
The
thank
voices are being heard, and I'm glad that McDuffie is coming, so that's a great look, and I'm glad that he's here to sit down. He's come in smaller meetings, but this is an actual town hall, so I'm really excited to hear about what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it seems like everything's happening on Tuesday, so I just hope that he has a lot of people that are there and that are here to listen and see what he has planned for Ward 8.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I think his deputy director of I'm sorry, you got to give me your title, Jonathan. I think you're the
Deputy Chief of Staff.
Staff. Yeah, thank you. All right, so the deputy chief for staff, Jonathan McNair, is here, who could really go in a little bit more detail about that upcoming meeting on Tuesday. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you, President Presswood. Definitely appreciate you allowing me to share more details about the town hall. And Monique, it's really good seeing you. Thank you for all the hard work that you've been doing. It's been great collaborating with you and seeing you out at all of the different town halls. I've been present at the Chairman's Town Hall most recently that took place in Ward 8. So I was really happy to be able to hear from residents there. And I look forward to our upcoming town hall at the Temple of Praise on Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's 700 Southern Avenue and we really look forward to you all coming out. I intend to have representation from the Board of Elections there, as well as MPD. And we're also going to have your State Board of Education representative, LaJoy Johnson Law there. We'll also have Jock Patterson there, the president of the State Board of Education, as well as a Ward 8 resident present as well, to be able to field any education questions. But we really want to hear from Ward 8 residents to see what's happening right now, where the challenges lie. And as we prepare for the budget, I know President Presswood, you asked questions about where the council is in reference to dates for budget hearings. So all of the budget hearings that we had scheduled, those dates have been scrapped at this point. We are currently waiting for the mayor to transmit her budget to the OCFO. The OCFO then needs 10 business days to actually certify that budget. Once that budget is certified, we can then begin planning our rollout of budget oversight hearings when our first and second votes will be on the BSA, and move forward from that point. We're hopeful that things will happen quickly, and really hopeful that we can get this on the books to really get this accomplished. I see some folks in the chat saying hello. My good friend Regina Pixley, want to say hi to her as well, and just everybody that's here today. But if you do have questions about that process, we're going to be there to answer those questions, and we want you to come out to our committee's hearings, the Committee on Business and Economic Development. I know that there's a lot of development happening in Ward 8. A lot of folks want to come over and make changes and find ways in which they can improve the community. I know there's been conversations about building new housing. We want to hear directly from you all on what you like and what you don't like, what you want to see differently, and be that conduit on the Committee on Business and Economic Development front. There are a lot of opportunities there, and I know housing is a big concern for Ward 8 residents, and I want to ensure that your voices are heard on Tuesday. So I'm happy to field any questions while I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, and I'll make sure I put my contact information within the chat for you all to reach out. My cell phone number is 202-288-0714. My cell phone number is 202-288-0714. I will put that in the chat as well, but you all can feel free to text me, call me, whatever you need. I'm here for you.
Well, thank you, Jonathan, and thank you for hopping on our call today. I know it was short notice, but we appreciate that. Once again, we're putting up the slide that shows the event that now 3 people have mentioned. So it's going to be at the Temple of Praise. And by the way, I just want to just shout out Temple of Praise and the ministerial team over there. They've been just a great partner in the work that we've done at the Ward 8 Democrats, but then also just a community partner. And so I want to shout them out. Shout out to ACC as well. And we're glad to see Councilmember McDuffie come over. I did get a chance to meet with him briefly and with you last week, and we sort of talked about this. And so I'm glad that it panned out to what it is right. And thank him for us, and I hope to see you all there on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you to Ms. Diop as well. There is a question, so I want to just make sure that I bring in our allowed to speak at least. It's Jamila White. She is Madam Chair of ANCAA. She had a question or a comment.
Hey, Troy. Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry, I just had a question for Jonathan. It was really good to see you here, and I put it in the chat. I just wanted to understand what's the council members' plan for follow-up following the town hall. I've been to several conversations with Councilmember McDuffie and other council members in town halls where there were issues raised, especially ones around policy and budget and bigger issues, but there's been little follow-up. And I've reached out, several times asking for follow-up, and it kind of just isn't like definitive. So I'm hoping that at this town hall, there's going to be, what's the process for follow-up? What's the timeline for that? What commitments can be made there? And how will the conversation continue? Because as you know, the ANCs have requested Councilmember W for more than 3 months to come to Ward 8. So really looking forward to hearing from you about how those processes will be set in place.
Great question.
Absolutely. I appreciate you bringing up that question. And in reference to follow up, it'll be subjective. It'll be subjective to what the request is. Some things take a longer path through legislation. Some things take a longer path through the budget, be it financial means. But in reference to getting the council member there, hearing from him directly, I think dependent upon what the ask is, there'll be opportunities to hear what that follow up will look like. Some things may be as dire as trash not being picked up in an alley, overgrowth somewhere, we needing to get the OAG out to do oversight on a slumlord that hasn't done what they're supposed to. Those things will be direct, and it'll be a whole team with us. My director of Constituent Services, Kelly Sislow, will be there. I'll have our legislative director there as well. So it'll be our entire team that'll be present. The council member will be there as well as several members from the executive branch of government that'll be able to field the questions. But in terms of follow-up, it'll be subjective to what the concern is. And I'm happy to, be helpful in any way possible. But in reference to, getting the council member out, this will be a larger audience for him to come out to, and he will be there on Tuesday at 6 p.m. And we really look forward to seeing you and the rest of the residents and several ANC commissioners from across the entire ward.
Thank you. And if I could just give a unsolicited piece of advice, it would be really good if there could be whether it's the council members' newsletters or other forms of communication to let people know this came up. This is what we could do. This is what we couldn't do, and maybe why we couldn't do it. So people aren't kind of left trying to figure that out or saying the council isn't doing nothing, right? Because we don't know what happened. And it's a lot of one-way communication a lot of times, or maybe two-way in these bigger engagements, but the understanding what happened after that. And this is not, well, Councilmember Duffy, I'm just gonna say in my experience overall, with a lot of different, that what happens after and what has happened and all of that, we don't always get. So I think if somehow it can be communicated publicly, whether a newsletter on your website, different venues would be really helpful.
I like that. I really appreciate you bringing that idea up. And what I can definitely commit to is we will take the contact information of every individual who comes into the Temple of Praise, and we can do some follow-up, via email and via telephone. However, folks give us their contact information, whatever their preference is, we can ensure that we follow up with individuals directly in that way as well.
Thank you, Jamelia, for the question and for the comment. So once again, the information is on your screen. Ward 8, come out to meet with Councilmember Kenyan McDuffie. He needs to hear your concerns, especially as we gear up for what will likely be a truncated budget season, right? Because we need to get the budget to the Congress, and they have to review it, and they have a layover period and all of that stuff. And so so much is moving at lightning speed, but we still must make sure that we're doing our part. So make sure that you come out if you can, 6 o'clock on April 22nd at Temple of Praise. Thank you, Jonathan. And then I think that's just, it leads us to this slide here, which is that here are your at-large council members. Here, they all represent us. There was a question earlier in the chat about, so what does this mean that we don't have a council member? Does anybody represent us? Well, yeah, we do actually. Legally, or on record, I should say, there are 5. There's your council chairman. You heard from Monique Diop earlier, who is the director of Constituent Services for Ward 8. Who Chairman Mendelson has kept on from the Ward 8 office. And so there's him. And then there's 4 at-large members: Robert White, Anita Bonds, Christina Henderson, Kenyan McDuffie. These are their email addresses. Reach out to them directly. I know folks like Jonathan will get that email as well. And just, let them know what you need to what they need to do, what they need to know. I mean, again, around the budget or around other issues, because maybe it's not budget, maybe it's some constituent services issue. They need to know that as well. They are all our council members. They just represent the whole city. But I'm going to repeat something I said here 3 months ago, 2 months ago, last month. I'm going to say it again here, which is that all of them are our council members. So reach out to all of them, especially those who serve in committee chair roles. They are all for us, and we need to make sure that they know that. And so reach out to every last one of them. We sent that letter I mentioned to you earlier about the budget. It went to all 12 council members and the mayor's team, the executive office of the mayor. So we wanted to make sure that all of them knew that since we don't have a representative, that you need to step up for Ward 8. And so we hope to have more of those even small conversations, the one like Brooke Pinto had in our ward. We're looking to have more of those from the other ward level council members who chair committees that impact our ward in the weeks ahead. Screenshot that, by the way, and reach out to all of them. Put them all on your CC list as you're communicating with the council. And before we open up to anyone who has anything they want to share publicly here, I just want to one more time just say that we are open to working with you. Perhaps there is a role that you can serve in. Well, we have a number of ways that you can serve in the Ward 8 Democrats, a number of on-ramps for you to, show your talents and your services. And so there's programming, there's issues and legislative affairs, there's our seniors committee, there's our youth committee, there's membership, there's fundraising, public relations, special events, canvassing, organizational, volunteers. We're going to need a lot of folks, especially as we gear up for the special election that we did not anticipate. So if you are interested in serving in any of these roles, we just want you to let us know so that we can put you on our list. Some of you have already done that, and for those who have, we got your information. So we'll be reaching out again to you shortly. But our email address where you can contact us is info@ward8dems.com. Info@ward8dems.com. Screenshot this so you know what we're looking for, and ask yourself, is there something I can do? Is there a place for me here? The answer is yes, but you should ask yourself that as well. Pray on it even. But figure out if there's a way that you can be a part of what we're doing here in Ward 8. We are your democratic organization. We're the closest party level to the ward. From us, you go up to the state party, which is our DC Democratic Party, and then there's a regional, and then there's a national party. But yeah, get engaged with us. We're here. We are your Ward 8 Democrats. And so send us an email, or if you want to join one of these committees or chair one of these committees, send us a resume or a bio to info@ward8dems.com. That's certainly what Commissioner Kay Armstead did. She reached out, she saw this slide, and she said, I want to be a part of what you guys are doing here at the Ward 8 Democrats. I have a little extra time, or I just want to make a difference. And so she reached out and said, I want to be part of the Issues and Legislative Affairs Committee. And that was back in 2022, 2023. And she came on, and she certainly made a difference. And even though she's gone home to glory, her work remains. So if you want to be a part of what we're doing here, I urge you to check us out at ward8dems.com and send us an email as well. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say other ways you can support us is by donating. I spoke about this at length earlier. Scan the QR code, take you right to our Act Blue page. You can become a one-time donor or a sustaining donor at any amount that feels most comfortable for your budget. And now I want to open the floor for any conversations, any discussions. I certainly want to allow people who want to share their thoughts about Commissioner Kay Armstead, about John Ray, about anything we've heard today from Jonathan, from Monique. They're still on the line as well. Or if there's something that you've heard from me, or maybe there's other questions you may have. I think we did ask a few questions during the registration process. I'll try to get to some of those, but you can use the raise your hand feature or bring you on live. You can also just chat in the chat or the Q&A as well, and we'll try to get to those questions as well. If anything I can answer or they can answer. If not, we'll take them down and get you the answer later. But this is an opportunity for you to certainly speak up and speak out at this time before we close out. And so, Jamila, your hand is still up. Did you have a question? Jamila. Okay, maybe that was a mistake. All right, let's bring in Wanda Lockridge. Hi, Committeewoman Lockridge.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is having an amazing Saturday. So wanted to share a couple of things. First, I wanted to say kudos to Monique. I know your work. We work together, and so I know that you're doing an amazing job and that you will continue to do so. I want to talk a little bit about Kay first. So Kay was my commissioner here in 8E06. And prior to her becoming a commissioner, I actually was her commissioner. One day she knocked on the door and she says, you haven't put any flyers out on my street. I'm running for A and C commission. I was like, you know what? That's exactly what you should do. And she has served in that capacity for as long as I can remember. One of the things that I liked and respected about Kay was you knew exactly where she was coming from, especially when it came to Furby Hope and anything, all things Washington Highland. And I know Jock may have a couple words to say about that as well, because she was definitely on top of what was happening in the community. And I just really going to miss that voice for the Washington Highland community, especially in 8006. In terms of John, I remember John, oh my gosh, I was really, really just coming into the community as an activist or whatever you want to call it. And John was running for mayor. And actually, he was running with Sharon Pratt Kelly. Sharon Pratt Kelly. Now, here's the story. So my husband was supporting William was supporting Sharon and I was supporting John. That's how William and I met. But it was amazing just to see John work so hard. And I would tell you, John was leading in that race of mayor until the very last minute. And Sharon said she was going to come in and clean up with the broom. And she won that election. But it was amazing to have worked with both of those individuals. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Well, I know how important this city is to you, Madam Chairwoman, Madam Committeewoman. You were a chair at one point, of course. And so it's so great to hear your perspectives on it because, um, when you told me that, you met your husband during that campaign back in 1990. It's so funny. You guys are like living, walking history. And who knew that was what brought you together? I mean, it happens a lot in politics. We see that sometimes with Democrats and Republicans, who kind of, are at opposite ends, but they sort of, there's something about the fight that bring them together. And so I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about John's demeanor, because he was often, explained to others to be, and as you know, and I experienced as well, he was a quiet, reserved man, but when he had something to say, you heard it.
John was indeed a quiet, just even tone kind of guy, but his power and his knowledge about the city was amazing. The policies that he made when he was on the council, he would listen intensively, as a matter of fact, that I can remember John, and he would just get the work done. He wasn't that one that just wanted to be in front of the cameras and do that kind of work. That was not John at all. He wanted to just roll up his sleeves, put pen to paper, and get the job done. And all that fair fan, that was not him at all. And even and I don't remember, I think I saw John. It's been a while. I want to say even before the pandemic, but even I think it was we reconnected. Thank you for reminding me. We reconnected with the property that was on Martin Luther King Avenue with 4 Point.
4 points, yeah.
Yeah,
And
with 4 Points. And he was, that was their, I guess he was their attorney on record or something. And we reconnected and he hadn't changed. He was still getting it done, but still in a really quiet background kind of way. So that
Yeah.
was incredible to see him still out there working and doing what he loved doing.
Yeah. And according to his obituary that was released, he was 81 years old. So
81 years old. Absolutely.
thank you, Madam Committeewoman, as always,
Absolutely.
insights and for sharing that incredible story about Kay and John. And we hope that, their memories continue to be a blessing to all of those who are mourning. We certainly continue to offer our condolences to both families. And we know that in the days ahead, we'll hear more information about John's final services. Jamila? Jamila? Okay. All right. There's a question that we got from Tanya, and she asked about, does Ward 8 still include Navy Yard residents? And yes, it does. But I should be very clear because I was on the committee that helped to write the boundaries of the about we had to grow because of the census numbers showed that our ward, well, all the wards grew, but Ward 6 grew the fastest. So they had to shed residents to go to different parts of the of like 7 and 8, and I think a little bit went to Ward 2, formerly Ward 2. But we ours had to grow as well, and I was on the committee that helped to sort of spearhead that under the former council member. And I remember that for some reason I got put into the on the team that's going to look at Navy Yard and what to do with Navy Yard. And because that was the likeliest place to expand. And you know, so I should say that it's not all of Navy Yard. It's just a part of Navy Yard that's technically part of Ward 8. The other part is Ward 6. It continues to be in Ward 6. And had I known we were going to get this question, I would have pulled up a boundary. But pull it up, you can see very clearly where the lines are. Uh, we did, and I should also know, because people don't know this, there's a massive apartment building over there off of I Street, I think it is. And we were looking at, because we were trying to like divide the building up and create ANCs and SMDs out of that, and we were allowed to follow this idea out of New York, which is that some buildings in New York are split in half in terms of their representation. So because they have really big, tall buildings, like built like floor 1 through 15 is like one council member or one commissioner, and then like floor 15 through 30 is another commissioner. We were even looking at something like that, but we knew that would just be too much to handle here in Ward 8, here in Navy Yard. So there is what we call the Navy Yard notch that we had to create there to sort of make it all make sense. And so a big portion of it is in Ward 8, but then the rest of it is in another part of it is in Ward 6. If you think about, we talked about grocery stores and how grocery stores, we out the story for so long that we kept telling ourselves that we only had one grocery store. Well, once we were redistricted, we had three, because we ended up picking up the Harris Teeter and we ended up picking up the Whole Foods, but then it sort of goes down New Jersey Avenue and then picks up what we know as like Nationals Park and that part of Navy Yard. So it leaves out the other apartments where all of those apartments are, like between M and South Capitol Street and I Street. So that part is cut out, but then the rest of it is in. Hopefully that makes sense. So yes, they are in it. We have engaged our new neighbors over across the river through happy hours and through other activities. Whenever they want me to come, I'm happy to come and talk to them and everything. And I just want to shout out, there's a group of African American residents over there called the Black Navy. And hey, what can I do to be part of the Black Navy? That's all I'm gonna say. I just want to come and just hear what y'all are talking about. So whenever y'all meet invite us. We'll come and talk. So hopefully that answers your question, Tanya. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Michael, please. Um, Michael Greer, our Issues and Legislative Affairs Chair. Michael, are you there?
I am sorry about that. I was running back to my phone. I thought you didn't see my message.
Well, yeah, I saw it now. You come on camera?
Yes,
Oh,
that's why.
okay. All right. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir. You wanted to share some comments about Kay.
Yeah, I just wanted to, Kay and I worked together while she was co-chair, when she served as co-chair of Issues in Legislative Affairs. She was very hardworking, very dedicated, very passionate about the work of Ward 8 Democrats, and very passionate about improving our ward. I just wanted to say, I remember one of our meetings we had when we were trying to develop a survey and put together some new proposals that we could go that could go out for our recommendations to the council. And I remember her saying, I don't care what it is. We just need workforce because we need people in Ward 8 working. And she understood that there's a lot of vibrancy in Ward 8 and there's a lot of hard workers in Ward 8. And there are a lot of people who just need a chance and a door open for them to do the work, and they'll make a way. And Kay, when she was on the committee, did an amazing job of making a way and always being present and always being willing to shed light on an issue or speak up to advance an issue. And so I just wanted to say I really appreciated her vibrance. I appreciated her energy and appreciated her dedication, and I'm so grateful for her contributions. And I know that all the work that she has touched throughout her life, she has made a difference. And all that she's touched has made a difference in her life. And I hope that it serves her spirit well as she's now at rest, and thinking about all of the things all of the ways that she's changed this world for the better. And so I just want to say it was an honor and privilege to work with her. And I'm very, very thankful for, again, her work and dedication. And I just wanted to do that as her co-chair in today's meeting.
Well, thank you for doing that, Michael. And I know that, I know initially when we teamed the two of you up together, it was like, okay, so how are we going to make this work? Like what exactly is the yin and the yang here? And it sounded like you were able to find um, the right temperature that helped you all to gel and of course to work, with your strengths and with her strengths, were you able to work together? And I'm really happy that you were able to flag that for me and to get on here to talk about that publicly because I know that as you continue to serve in the role, you know, you are impacted by her as well and what the legacy that she leaves behind. And again, who to fight for, right? That
Yeah.
remember who we're fighting for. Ultimately, it's about who we're fighting for. Just like Wanda said about John Ray, a quiet man who really wasn't all about being in front of the camera. Um, he had to be because of his role, but outside of that, he worked. And that was something certainly Kay did as well. So thank you for sharing.
Happy to. Thank you, Troy.
All right. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to just go over a couple of things that came from folks here in the registration process. Can we host a voting hoop pop up at some of the apartment complexes and blocks to engage more residents? Absolutely, but please reach out to your candidates on that because they are the ones who should be thinking about getting engaged on all of these different ways, how to engage with their residents on different levels. But what a Democrats would love to come and hold a information session, hold a voter registration session to help people at least understand what's happening in the election that's coming up. So yes, absolutely. We just need money to do it, or just a little bit to do it. We also have questions here about will the Ward 8 Democrats endorse a candidate? So our bylaws allow for endorsement. Endorsement is a very high bar. it requires a 60% threshold, and it's just a very, very high bar to reach. Not impossible, just a high bar. So the board will think about what to do. If we do an endorsement form, we'll certainly let folks know. We will definitely have a straw poll component to what we're doing, and that will give people an opportunity to come out and to express their support for a candidate. All right. When is the election for the Ward 8 Council seat? It is going to be on July 15th, 2025. It's a Tuesday. There's a early voting period leading up to that, and then every registered voter, no matter what party, will receive a ballot. Those will go out at the second week of June. Who are the Ward 8 candidates? We announced those earlier. There are 10 that turned in petitions, so that makes them preliminary candidates. There's now this process that starts tomorrow on Easter and goes for 10 days, where people get to inspect the petitions to make sure that the petitions are in good order. And if not, then you may have less than 10. Of the 10, 8 are registered as Democrats. And so we expect that, those petitions will be looked at very closely as well, just like the other two, the total of the 10 there. And we'll know in about, a good 20 days who's going to make it onto the ballot. And so at that point, you'll see us really go really hard about, okay, here are the Democratic candidates. But for now, we did share with you the preliminary ones in an earlier slide. If you missed it, please go back and watch this program. Let's see here. Okay. Any ANCs running for Ward 8? I'm not really sure what you mean, but so there are ANCs, there are commissioners who are in office now who ran last election cycle back in November 2024 and who are serving in those roles now. But I wonder if you're thinking about, and maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, this person who asked the question, but if you're thinking about some of the open ANC seats, and so I think there are a couple of those, and there is a way to fulfill those seats. If you are interested, and if there's a seat that's open where you live, you can reach out to the DC Board of Elections on what that process is. Then the other things, maybe you're asking about, is there ANC running for the council office? And on that, there's a couple of them who are running. Certainly invite you to take a closer look at all of the candidates who've made the preliminary stages, and then those who will progress to because now I think for preliminaries we go to the knockout round, right? I'm just using boxing terms, and then we'll see who stands in the final. So yeah, check out those candidates. But there are a couple who are running, at least a couple who are running in those seats. And by the way, I want to just shout out Sandra Seegers. She has been posting on her socials all of the candidates, who's in, who's out, their party, if they withdrew, if they turned in petitions, didn't turn in petitions. It's been, if you're not following her, or if you're not seeing what she's posting, check her out, because she has been really, really good about keeping on top of that. And so now that we kind of know at least where we are preliminarily with the Democrats, we will certainly be talking a lot more about those who are running as Democrats. And we'll be engaging them and helping you engage with them as well in the weeks ahead. What is the secondary interest for those running for the Ward 8 Council seat? What is the primary interest for those running for the Ward 8 Council seat? Yeah, that's a great question. Why they're running? That's something that we would ask in a forum, and so we're gonna park your question and add it to the list of questions that will be asked. Are there plans? What are the plans to organize Ward 8? Organize for educating students in Ward 8. So, again, we do voter registrations. We do civic engagement sessions and speaks at all of our high schools. As you know, in DC, you can register to vote at age 16. You can't vote until you are 18 or will be 18 by the time of the election. But we know we have some seniors and who are eligible now. And so we continue to do that. We've done it. We continue to do that. If you have some ideas, reach out to us, info@ward8dems.com. How are our awards needs being addressed given the current budget issues? Well, I spoke about that ad nauseum earlier. Go back and take a look at that. But just know that the mayor is preparing for possible budget cuts and freeze right now because our last year's budget is being forced upon us unfairly through Congress because Congress has failed to act. That continues to be a major thorn for us. But she's trying to figure that part out before she can get us to 2026 budget, which starts on October 1st of this year. So there's a lot going on. We are on top of it. I did share, we sent out our budget letter, so please take a look at that. We will post that letter on our website. I'll try to get to that right after this call or after this meeting is over. And yeah, so there's another question around conducting a candidate forum. So I talked about that earlier. All right. So that's all the questions that came in that was germane to our conversation. I'm going to take one final look in our chat here to make sure we didn't miss anything. There is a question about will the council, there's talk about if the former council member Trayon White, if he wins in the special election, will the council keep him? That's up for debate. I think the chairman was asked this question as well, if they will vote him out again. He hasn't definitively answered that question one way or the other. I don't know what they will do. I mean, we have thoughts about it. We know next year is an election year for our at-largers, and so what does that mean for them in terms of that decision? I don't know. I mean, there's also 7 other wards that elect them too, and so what's the going feeling about any of that? But certainly the former council member is eligible to run again. We thought it was best to have him in place during this budget season. The council thought otherwise, and so if he returns in July, what will the council do? Don't know. Watch this space. Any other questions that make sense to answer? No, I think we are good. Okay. Well, if there is nothing else for the good of the order, I do want to just thank Jonathan from Councilmember McDuffie's office, the Deputy Chief of Staff there. I certainly want to thank Monique Diop from now Council Chairman Phil Mendelson's office as the Director of Constituent Services for Ward 8. I want to thank both of them for coming through and talking with us and explaining to us what's coming up next. We do know that McDuffie will be in the ward on the 22nd. I think that's a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, over at Temple of Praise. So make plans to do that if you like. Join us in May. We plan to talk a little bit more about the election process, maybe even bring on a representative from the DC Board of Elections to walk us through what this process will look like, answer your questions as well. We hope to have more information about our candidate forum, which will happen in June. And so we invite you to stay engaged with us on our social media channels, use those hashtags, spread the word. We're activating Ward 8 votes again because we have to. And so spread the word. If you miss anything, go back and replay this video on YouTube and screenshot anything that's going to be helpful as you share that with the rest of the ward. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for just engaging in what we're doing here at the Ward 8 Democrats. Your voice is so important, and it is essential to the future of our ward. So stay tuned, stay loud, stay ready. We'll see you again in May. Until then, God bless. Happy Easter.